Dunk and Egg are back on the menu, boys. I was literally just complaining about how George R. R. Martin may be selfish for not letting HBO adapt a live-action Dunk and Egg maybe like a week, maybe 2 ago. I don't know. I lose track of all my complaining. It's a lot. Also, I'm elderly. First, if you don't know what Dunk and Egg is, it follows around a hedge knight, Duncan the Tall, and his squire, the future King Aegon V Targaryen, or Aegon the Unlikely. It takes place less than 100 years before the books and show, and so far we only have 3 novellas: the Hedge Knight, the Sworn Sword, and the Mystery Knight. But George has up to 12 stories planned, with the She-Wolves of Winterfell being the next story, and the 5th one being about the Riverlands, and I think it's called something like The Village Hero. But come on, She-Wolves of Winterfell? I cannot wait. If you want to read them, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms contains all the Dunk and Egg stories if you just want to collect them all in one place. It also has amazing artwork. Otherwise, you can collect the stories individually. They're just going to be part of other books. Why these stories haven't been adapted yet is George. George has been very vocal that he didn't want HBO to develop them, which would be the most logical choice since HBO owns the television and film rights to the world of Westeros. Kind of hard to make a series about a Targaryen prince in Westeros with a hedge knight if you cannot mention anything about Westeros or what HBO owns. George has stated in the past he would prefer HBO to buy his Dunk and Egg stories, but wanted to hold off on them adapting them. And there's been plenty of interest from HBO. Even Ryan Condal a little bit ago said this: "I very passionately pitched Dunk and Egg as a spin-off idea because I thought that's a great way to go. With the original series, how do you even follow it? It's so big, it's so scopy, it's so successful. The only way to do it is to go against the grain. Do this sort of lone wolf and cub, this wandering swordsman through the countryside." HBO loves Dunk and Egg. They desperately love it, but George really wants to finish writing those stories before that's adapted. I think he wants to be a little more involved with that. And I said this in my super ranty Dunk and Egg not being live action is selfish video. I know what George is afraid of. He's afraid of them running out of source material or catching up to where he is at in the Dunk and Egg stories, and then some donkeys coming along and just fucking it all up. And given how short the stories are, I mean, they're probably going to do 1 season per novella. They could stretch it out, but that might be a little ridiculous. So there's the backstory. Here's the news. I guess George decided, yeah, alright, you can adapt a live-action Dunk and Egg, HBO. However, the most recent news, and what I want to talk about, well, one of the things I want to talk about related to Game of Thrones spin-offs, is I guess George decided the risk was worth it, and Variety is reporting that HBO is in early development for the Tales of Dunk and Egg. That is so huge. George has been so against them adapting live-action Dunk and Egg. The fact that it's suddenly changed, I don't know. It actually has me a little bit worried that maybe he had a health change. And now he wants to get it going while he's still here to see a little bit of his baby being created. Is George dying, guys? Is this George's way of letting us know we don't have much time left with him? So far, Variety is reporting there's no specific talent or writer attached to the project yet, but sources say they are doing a 1-hour show based off the first 3 novellas. Also, Variety cautions our fragile hearts that just because it is in early development doesn't mean it will actually ever happen. I mean, look at the Long Night prequel. But the Long Night prequel was dog shit, and HBO should have figured that out long before they even gave that the green light to do a pilot. Dunk and Egg? That's gonna be a fucking hit. And I'm just saying this right now, if Rowan Weber doesn't have red hair, I'm gonna freak the fuck out, HBO. But here's the weird thing. Okay, so George changes his mind. Live action Dunk and Egg is in early development. It might happen. That is so crazy awesome. But HBO is also unclenching its butt cheeks. So something went on. So you guys probably know HBO went on and on about how they didn't want to saturate the network with Game of Thrones spin-offs and prequels, and that they only wanted to do one at a time. Well, look who realized that was a fucking stupid idea. HBO subscribers have dropped so much, which has to hurt during a pandemic when people are just binge watching shows. Kinda bad. Also, they probably realized with all these studios going to streaming platforms, they need to step up their game. I'm sure HBO Max and their greedy new owners want more shit on their platform and told HBO, Hey, not wanting to develop more than one Game of Thrones show at a time might be a super stupid idea, and we could get tons of money and subscribers by giving them more Game of Thrones shit. So you're gonna make that happen. It's also interesting that that was said by a previous CEO who was going, yeah, we don't want to saturate it with Game of Thrones. Then new ownership comes in, we have a new CEO, and then all of a sudden HBO's like, yeah, we want to develop a shit ton of Game of Thrones stuff. We want to have more streaming, more stuff on HBO Max. I mean, the old HBO CEO was told he wasn't making enough money. So I don't want to congratulate greed. Because I know that they're doing this for greed because HBO is hurting and they need more powerhouses like they had with their main Game of Thrones show. But at the same time, we're getting more Game of Thrones shit because of it. So here's the other part of this. Our precious little James Hibberd from Entertainment Weekly, the guy with all the Game of Thrones scoops and who would go for his seasonal photo shoot, is reporting that HBO is looking at more Game of Thrones prequels. According to him, HBO is meeting with top writers who are pitching them ideas based on George's writings that take place in a world of ice and fire. One named project is based on Robert's Rebellion, with writer Bruno Heller, who created Rome, said to be semi-attached but not officially. Which is kind of weird that Robert's Rebellion live action is happening because George has been so against a Robert's Rebellion live action spinoff. Seriously, is he dying? Is he going bankrupt? George, is this a financial thing? Do we need to do like a GoFundMe? If you're still hoping for a sequel or maybe a character spinoff from the main show, HBO is still very, very firm. No. We are only making shows before the time of the books and the show. Which doesn't mean we couldn't get a prequel show of Tywin's rise to power in the Westerlands. Dude murders a shit ton of people, including women and children. I mean, if these sources are legitimate and they're right, we could be getting a whole variety of Game of Thrones shows. Although I was a little bit bummed because within it they did mention just shows centered around Westeros and Essos. I'm still hoping for ■ I love me some ■. Oh, no. I'm terrified of ■. Scratch that. They should just have Longstrider and have him journeying around and us seeing a new place each episode and his journey of traveling to different places. That would be so cool. HBO, come on. Honestly, it's crazy how outrageously excited I am for live action Dunk and Egg. This is going to be one of those rare times where I'm going to get a little more aggressive about who they cast. And it's just not seeing Dunk and Egg, but it's seeing the other Targaryens that were alive during this time, and I'm looking forward to Bright Flame. Let's just say that. Alright, so lose your fucking mind. We're getting more Game of Thrones spinoff shows. Holy shit. Like, subscribe, come back for more videos.